He just always somehow thinks he's somehow entitled.
Ever wondered why Cody worships Robyn while ignoring everyone else in his life?
Cody sits there saying, oh, I'm so in love with all of my wives, and I'm also in love with Robyn.
Seriously, why exactly does Cody Brown love Robyn so intensely? In recent episodes, he's nearly crying while recalling their first meeting. It's honestly a bit much.
He's told me he was trying to affirm that he loved me.
It just wasn't like what it was with Robyn.
Is this genuine? Could he truly be that head over heels for Robyn, or is there something else going on? And if it is genuine, why exactly? Does Robyn secretly have a captivating personality she's somehow managed to keep hidden from cameras? Or maybe some remarkable hidden talents?
He just always somehow thinks he's somehow entitled. I think he really is just kind of inherently selfish.
The simplest explanation might just be that Cody is deeply insecure and constantly seeks validation.
But Robyn convinced all of us that she could speak Cody.
Robyn is skilled at flattering his ego and making him feel like the strong, important man he longs to be seen as. However, there does seem to be something genuinely shared between them, mainly because they're oddly similar.
She's always had expensive taste.
It could actually be a 7-bedroom home.
Both seem to have a taste for flashy, expensive things that somehow manage to look simultaneously cheap and strange.
We can get a long dining table and we can fit the whole family.
Both speak in flowery, vague terms that sound deep but mean very little. It's like they truly do speak the same language. But realistically, their relationship probably isn't thrilling or passionate these days, especially now that Robyn doesn't have competition from the other wives.
And even at this point, when he was courting Robyn, dating Robyn, I felt like he loved me.
It seems likely that Cody exaggerates his love for Robyn partly to convince himself and others that he never needed his original wives in the first place. He needs this romance to feel grand and exceptional, partly because it validates the choices he's made in disrupting his family, and partly to show the wives who left him that he's better off without them. In truth, their relationship probably feels mundane and predictable. Robyn often seems drained of life, and there's rarely a sparkle in her eyes. It's easy to picture the two of them just sitting silently on opposite ends of the couch, scrolling their phones, Robyn ordering countless dolls and random things online, and Cody investing in supplements or reading content that validates his self-image.
We did okay without you.
Ultimately, Cody genuinely believes their love is special and unmatched, partly because of his own inflated sense of self-importance. He insists their bond is profound and unique because it supports the narrative he's built around himself. This inflated love story seems designed to justify his choices and to remind the family he left behind that he has supposedly found his true soulmate. Why Robyn specifically? Because she perfectly caters to his ego and makes him the center of her universe. Unlike his previous wives, who had other priorities, such as work or caring for their children, Robyn entered his life entirely devoted to him.
Why don't you come over, like in the past, she said, why don't you have a conversation with your dad? I'll be there because, I speak Cody.
She treats him with constant admiration and respect, and even involves her children in providing the same adoration, offering Cody a simple and uncomplicated version of family life. Robyn provided a new family dynamic, just as Cody's original family responsibilities became more complex, offering him an escape into a home that consistently validates his ego, never questions his decisions, and continuously reinforces his sense of importance. Here's what they don't tell you about Cody's good taste, and how one impulsive furniture choice revealed everything wrong with this family dynamic. That Vegas furniture shopping grip perfectly sums up what shaped Mary into who she is today.
The couch that I saw that I loved is very traditional, and I loved it.
She had already picked out a couch she loved, one that actually suited her style, but then Cody decided it was too traditional.
Mary shows me her piece that she wants, and I'm like, that's grandma.
Naturally, he picked some curved, over-the-top piece that belonged in a hotel lobby and insisted on that one instead. And Mary, as usual, went along with it. On delivery day, she couldn't help but comment that they brought the couch she didn't pick.
And so I get this now because Mary's very sentimental. She has all her grandmother's furniture.
To make things worse, Robyn chimed in with a whole speech about how Mary still had furniture from her grandma, as if that somehow explained or justified the situation. It was a classic moment where Mary was completely overruled and then had someone else swoop in with unsolicited advice like they were the expert. That round couch was ridiculous, especially for someone like Cody, who claims to care so much about appearances.
The couch that I didn't pick is coming in.
It is absolutely absurd that we're moving furniture.
Mary eventually ended up with the couch she originally wanted. You can see it in her upstairs loft in later seasons. But the downstairs was stuck with that hideous hotel lobby sofa.
Well, I can take a nap here.
You could probably take a nap anywhere.
It didn't even have arms. Who could possibly take a comfortable nap on a curved couch with nowhere to lean? Mary has always been particular about her home, yet still let Cody make big decisions about her own space. Even when he was hardly present, his impulsive whims ran the show. That couch was a perfect example. He picked it in the showroom, told her to get it, and then never even sat on it again. They told you the Browns shared everything. Here's the money secret Cody hoped would stay off camera.
So we finally have made it to our house, and now I get to show David for the first time.
Iva's varying season 19, specifically the scene where Christine and David buy a house to use as an Airbnb.
My sister's closet was pretty much a dream.
In the confessional segments, the wives discuss their various business ventures, including Robyn's famously unsuccessful My Sister Wives Closet, the one funded by the family that never even came close to turning a profit.
I've gone ahead and roughed up the basic numbers.
Then Janelle drops a telling comment. The most successful business I have is one I started on my own. She's most likely talking about her Plexus income, because at that point they hadn't taken possession of the flower farm in North Carolina. Yes, she also sold t-shirts, but Plexus was clearly her big earner, similar to Mary with her LuLaRoe sales.
Cody would say, like, well, we all are a family and we all got here together.
Janelle mentions that Cody would often say things like, "You should share that money with the family," which basically confirms she didn't. Good for her.
I saw where all the money was going, and how much money Cody took and how much money Robyn took was a lot more than you were taking.
And then there's Cody, who chimes in, sounding agitated. She left, and she took those profits with her. It's a perfect Cody moment. He just can't help telling on himself. Time and again, he reveals that what really kept him invested was the money his wives were bringing in. It couldn't be clearer that his priority was their income.
Like, it's just an income source for me.
Cody's behavior proves what most have suspected for years. He relied on the women's earnings to support his household, expecting them to contribute even when they'd already built their businesses independently. Robyn's My Sister Wives Closet was funded by everyone and never produced a profit, probably draining tens of thousands of dollars before it became nothing more than a tax write-off. Meanwhile, Mary, Christine, and especially Janelle built successful MLM businesses. Other than Mary, there's no indication the other wives handed over their money, and honestly, why would they? Many of the kids were grown, and Cody and Robyn were already in a two-income household with more than enough money.
Because I sort of gave up the listings on our houses in Vegas. I was no longer the real estate agent.
And let's not forget that Janelle also became a real estate agent and was the one selling the Las Vegas houses. Even that could have brought in a good amount of money. Between that and her MLM income, she clearly had multiple successful streams. It all underscores the larger issue. Cody keeps his full share of the family money and then continues living exclusively with Robyn, who also receives her full share.
I think that I wasn't going to be fair.
How does it make sense for two people sharing a household to take double the cut? Nothing about that setup ever seemed remotely fair. Cody keeps using a word that makes him sound smarter, and it's making him look ridiculous.
They work their crap
Janelle,
out.
you're acting like you're not even culpable in this situation.
Culpable.
Cody is certainly culpable. Culpable of tossing that word around without a clue what it actually means. Every time I hear him say it, I have to laugh. He throws it around as if it means accountable, like some misguided vocabulary champion. Next time you catch him at it, look up the definition. It's hilarious.
For not having any respect for me about the COVID.
What you were asking me to choose
Rules.
between my children.
He keeps going on about how he's trying to make people culpable, which would make sense if he weren't also culpable for sounding ridiculous. Not that he's accountable for it. Apparently, that's a whole different thing.
Okay, so can I dress the pink elephant I think that's in the room? Are you guys trying to say this is because of me coming in the
No.
Honestly, I feel unsafe, ambivalent, and confused whenever I have to listen to him. It's like staring blankly at the big picture, only for some pink elephant to wander into the room. Guess I'm cuppable, too. Or is it culpable? Hard to tell with all this gaslighting going on.
The act is easy. Just performing my duty.
And of course, Cody always thinks he's the smartest one in the room. Someone must have given him a word of the day calendar because he loves tossing around words even if they don't fit. It's all about sounding clever, but it just comes off like a junior high mean girl trying too hard to impress. Never assume Cody Brown treats all his kids equally. Here's the harsh truth.
I'm nervous about how attached to this idea I am.
In one of the later seasons, Cody mentions that now that he's no longer tied down by financial stress and is getting older, he finally wants to slow down and appreciate the parts of parenting that he missed when life was more chaotic. That's an understandable idea. Many people feel the same once they're more stable and can give their children more attention.
I'm like, well, we got to do something. So I wanted to gather you guys up and finish our discussion.
But Cody only decided to apply this idea to one household, one wife, and one set of children. Truly isn't much older than Solomon. Back in Las Vegas, they were part of the same age group. Yet, he didn't make extra time to take Truly to school, and he never made a point of spending more time with his older kids. Instead, he focused all of this energy on Robyn and her children. When you look back, Christine, Janelle, and Mary all raised the same issue. Cody wasn't present or engaged with them or their children. Maybe he was in love. Maybe he resented having to divide his attention. But that doesn't excuse him from not parenting his kids. Plenty of people feel disconnected from their spouses and still manage to show up as parents. Cody never seems to grasp that this is what everyone around him has been telling him. Poor Savannah is a heartbreaking example.
I haven't even talked to Savannah in 6 weeks. Like, you didn't even call her at Christmas or anything.
Remember when Janelle told him that he hadn't spoken to Savannah in 6 weeks? The blank look on his face was telling. That's what's so sad. Truly's neglect is obvious enough, but Savannah was almost invisible, overlooked even by her own sister, who chose Truly as her flower girl. Cody comes across less like a father and more like someone who left one family for another.
I'm trying to keep Solomon from being just in the house all the time.
And then there's that moment where Cody mentioned driving Sol and Ari to school, past Christine's house, without ever offering to take Truly along too, even though she's only a little older and probably at the same school.
I think there's a natural jealousy and dislike that they've had toward Robyn.
Cody has stated that he sees his kids as extensions of their mothers, and that his behavior toward them reflects his feelings for those mothers. It's become very clear that Cody never truly prioritized the older kids. The boys from one wife mattered more to him for a while, especially in the early years. The kids of other wives were rarely at the top of his list.
You know, it took Cody and I 5 years to have Leon. After that, I did a lot of...
Even Mary had to advocate for Leon, and Cody wasn't supportive. The way Cody and Robyn first met was also much different than they'd originally presented. Here's what nobody is saying about Sobin and Cody's so-called perfect marriage and why it's a ticking time bomb. It's a question that's been hanging in the air for a long time. On one hand, they seem glued together. On the other, they're both narcissistic enough to eventually tear each other apart.
How is it fair to be in a marriage when there's nothing there?
From a psychological perspective, Sobin displays traits of covert narcissism, the crying, victimhood, and manipulative sweetness,
Jill, I saw you right there mock my rules.
while Cody exhibits traits of grandiose narcissism, arrogance, blame-shifting, and an overinflated ego. Two narcissists rarely sustain a stable long-term relationship. Typically, they go through the cycle of love-bombing, devaluing, and discarding faster than most couples. The reason they've lasted this long is that they projected all their flaws onto the other wives.
You asked them, Cody. I have not done anything.
Sobin manipulated Cody into seeing Christine and Mary as the villains, Every flaw Sobyn showed was dismissed and placed onto the other women. Sobyn painted herself as the innocent victim while covertly criticizing Christine and Mary. Cody bought into this, believing Sobyn was perfect and that all issues were created by the other wives.
And that caused the families to be separated.
Basically, it's a blame game.
Yes, and your mother is the Teflon queen.
Meanwhile, Sobyn projected Cody's flaws outward too. Every one of Cody's temper tantrums was justified, supposedly because the other wives didn't respect him enough, follow his COVID rules, or honor him properly as the head of the family. Without the other wives around as scapegoats, this cycle of projection will no longer hold. With Christine and Mary in Utah and Janelle in North Carolina, all of them moving on, the contact is minimal, making it impossible for Sobyn and Cody to keep avoiding their own flaws. They will inevitably have to face one another directly, without a buffer. That kind of reckoning is usually where narcissistic relationships start to collapse. Sobyn already looks miserable, and Cody seems angrier than ever. They've both hinted at self-sabotaging behaviors, especially Cody.
And this is
Yes, right. Because I'm like, people were just spending, and I'm like, I don't know who this belongs to.
He tends to attack somebody in an area that's important to them.
Financial instability will also play a role. Sobyn's compulsive spending and Cody's fear of going broke are real.
Believe that women should all be empowered in plural marriage with financial power.
because she has nothing in her name.
Sobyn refuses to work and is unlikely to change her habits. She may already be hoarding purchases in a hidden storage unit. Cody doesn't have a strong earning capacity outside of reality TV. With the other wives no longer there to help buffer the costs and emotional labor, their financial and emotional troubles will intensify. That being said, they may stay together simply because Sobyn is unlikely to leave a comfortable setup at this stage in her life, especially with 5 children and few prospects outside of Cody.
Come on.
We had that discussion about where our relationship is at. Well, don't blame me for not loving you.
Cody also appears to prefer a monogamous setup at this point, which gives him a sense of control and stability. In short, they could limp along together, not because they're a strong, healthy couple, but because fear of change outweighs the discomfort of staying. Never leave one kid out of the loop, unless you want a lifetime of drama. Here's why they kept Mykelti in the dark. During season 2, the parents broke the news of the move to the older children first, saving the big family announcement for the Christmas gathering at the cabin.
But then when COVID hit, and all of a sudden we weren't part of their group.
They told Logan, Aspen, Mariah, Madison, and Hunter, but somehow skipped Mykelti. Mykelti is older than Hunter, so it doesn't quite add up.
They want to focus on doing things with Christine. Christine doesn't make any rules or make anybody abide by them.
But the reason was probably because they thought she'd spill the news too early. Mykelti had a reputation for sharing information, and they likely felt they couldn't trust her to keep it quiet. Christine even told Mykelti she was working on a cookbook when she was actually writing about leaving the AUB, which says a lot about their concerns with her ability to keep a secret.
Mykelti and Robyn had a really, really special experience together.
Given her tendency to react dramatically, they probably worried she'd make a big scene and upset the younger kids, making an already stressful move even harder.
Robyn and Mykelti have had a really close relationship from the time I started courting Robyn.
It's also notable that Mykelti had already spent time away as Robyn's live-in nanny. Even then, it seemed like they didn't necessarily view her as someone mature enough to handle difficult news calmly. Mykelti filled a role in Robyn's household, much like Aspen did at Christine's and Logan at Janelle's. They were relied on for help, but not necessarily given equal respect as someone who could lead.
Mykelti has made it clear that she's neutral. Mykelti's the bridge between the family.
And while she's close in age to Aspen and Madison, Mykelti wasn't always treated the same. That showed up again when she and Madison got engaged around the same time. Madison was seen as ready, while Mykelti was not, despite them only being a few months apart. Mykelti often seemed left out of that inner circle and treated as less mature, which explains why they decided not to include her when they broke the big moving news. If you're loving these deep dive breakdowns with me, Elena, here on Reality Nexus X, smash that like button. Let's aim for 1,000 likes together. Join our sisterhood of reality lovers and subscribe so you never miss the next juicy video.